Acupuncture is a form of alternative medicine, and it is a component of traditional Chinese medicine. It is used for so many different health concerns, and yet a lot of people are a little scared about acupuncture, and I think it's because they simply haven't been educated about what it can offer. So I'm so excited for this episode of Your Best Life. In fact, you're probably going to want to take notes because I have one of the top leading acupuncturists as our guest today. So stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Your Best Life. I am your host and healthy living correspondent, Beth Schomp. Today, I have a very special guest with us today. Her name is Dr. Glennie Rodford, and Glennie is a personal friend of mine. She and I go back a few years, and Glennie is an acupuncturist. The name of her practice is Healingglen Acupuncture. And so, Glennie, welcome. I'm so honored that you took time out of your very busy schedule to join us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a thrill.
Well, before we get started, I have lots of questions to ask you. I know our viewers are going to be excited to learn a lot about acupuncture, but I think it's always important for people to get to know the person a little bit. So tell us a little bit about your story and what led you into the world of acupuncture.
Oh, I'm glad to share my story. I started out my adult life as a soldier and Army officer. I served for 31 years in the United States Army. And when I was to the point of getting ready to retire, I knew that I needed to do something to continue to challenge myself. And I was really looking for a way to continue to serve people. And after a lot of research and trying on different things for size, I landed on acupuncture, and it has just been a thrill. I mean, I just feel like all roads have led to this point in my life.
I know it's personally very fulfilling for you. Tell our viewers a little bit about what acupuncture really is and how does it help?
Okay. Acupuncture is a thousands of years old natural healing therapy that was developed in the Far East, namely China, although Japan and Korea do have their own versions of it. And it is a natural therapy that uses very fine needles that are inserted in different places in the body. And the reason we do that is because we are restoring the flow of the body's energy. When the energy gets trapped in different places, it can create stuckness. And with that comes pain. Even it can be emotional pain, spiritual pain, or physical pain. So by inserting those little needles at various places along the rivers of energy that flow through us, then that restores the flow and everything starts to feel better.
Yeah, so let's talk about the needles that you use. And was that the word you used, were needles? Is that what? So are those the same needles that are used with, say, injections?
Absolutely not. They're very different. I always describe them as they're very thin, almost like a cat's whisker. As a matter of fact, you could put about 10 acupuncture needles into one hypodermic needle. That's how small they are.
Wow. Wow. Does it hurt?
Well, I never tell people that it doesn't, that you don't feel anything. Mm-hmm. You should feel something, although I don't describe it as pain. I describe it as a sensation. Sometimes the sensation can be a little almost of like an electrical sensation, or it could be kind of a deep, almost a bone level sensation. Normally it's momentary. And after you feel the sensation, then often there's just a sense of relief. And sometimes people even go, ah. So it feels really good, actually.
I can say from personal experience when I came to you, and we'll talk in a minute about the different reasons why people use acupuncture, but I came specifically to give more clarity. And
right.
but I can tell from personal experience, I didn't feel anything at all. And it is very, very relaxing.
Yes, I had acupuncture just earlier today. It was my time to go. I usually go one time a month, and there were some points that were less zingy than others, and some of them where she definitely was right on target. So I was feeling something.
I think that says a lot, though, that you are willing to, not willing, I guess you feel that responsibility. You believe so much in what you do that you take care of yourself in the same manner that you're taking care of your patients.
Absolutely. I feel that any practitioner, I don't care what you practice, if you are not willing to use that therapy or that modality on yourself, then how do you have any credibility to be able to deliver it to anyone else? It just doesn't work for me if someone believe enough in what they do. Like if you didn't take the vitamins that you talk so much about, Beth, I'd have to wonder about you.
You know what? You have to walk your talk, and that's absolutely true. That's all about credibility, as you said. So are there side effects to acupuncture?
You know, acupuncture, there are 3 words that I use to describe acupuncture, and that's safe, drug-free, and effective. And there are mostly no side effects. The only potential side effects that could happen is sometimes if I get a little too close to a little blood vessel, I can nick it and I can leave a little bruise sometimes. And if I wasn't trained as much and as highly trained as I am, I could needle too deeply, especially in the top part of the body. And if you needle too deeply and you touch the lungs, you can actually collapse a lung.
Wow.
So it's really important for people to, when they're going to an acupuncturist, that they check out how a person has been trained, and are they licensed? Are they certified? To make sure that they're getting someone who is highly skilled and will not hurt them. But otherwise, aside from those 2 things, there are no side effects.
Let's talk about the education piece. What are the steps, the certification steps for someone to become an acupuncturist? What should I look for if I'm going to go find an acupuncturist in my area?
Right. So every acupuncturist needs to have, at a minimum, a master's degree in acupuncture. Depending on the state in which the person practices, they may also need to be nationally certified, which is kind of like the bar exam for acupuncturists. So for me personally in Virginia, I needed to take 3 separate tests to be nationally certified. Once I had completed my degree, got my national certification, then I could apply through the Virginia Board of Medicine to get my license to practice here in Virginia. Now, I believe in the state of Florida, there's an additional requirement for someone to also have Chinese herbs as in addition to acupuncture. So they would need to be educated in both acupuncture and Chinese herbs, and they would need to be nationally certified in acupuncture and Chinese herbs. And the way that you would find that out is you can just literally Google the Florida Board of Medicine, and there should be a registry there, and type in the person's name and see if they're credentialed in an appropriate way.
Got it. What are some of the conditions? What are some of the reasons why someone would want to seek out an acupuncture?
Right. So I get that question a lot, and my typical answer is I don't treat conditions, I treat people. And I don't mean to be flip about that, but what that means is that I am interested in more than a body part or more than a symptom. I'm interested in who is that person, body, mind, and spirit. And so while symptoms are important, and it's usually what brings a person into my office in the first place, after I begin working with that person, then lots of things come to the surface and things get healed that maybe the person wasn't even aware of. Now, with all of that said, I can tell you that the World Health Organization has a listing of probably at least 85 conditions that they have deemed appropriate for treatment with acupuncture. So you could, again, Google the World Health Organization acupuncture, and up will pop this list. And it just covers a whole host of things, physical, mental, and emotional.
What about children? Is acupuncture safe for children?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I just treated an infant the other day. She was having some colic, and her mama brought her in, and I did one little needle. She wasn't too happy with me. She squawked. But a few hours later, mom reported that she was happy and that her belly was doing good. So yes, acupuncture is very safe for children. As a matter of fact, children usually respond more quickly than an adult will.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
So are there certain health conditions that I would want to be concerned? Like if I take a blood thinner or something like that, are there certain conditions, health conditions that I would want to be cautious or let you know about that might impact a treatment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, so let me just address the blood thinner thing initially, because I do see a lot of people who come in and they are on medication for blood thinners. Acupuncture is really great in creating relaxation in the soft tissue and the vessels. And because of that, it actually helps someone who has cardiovascular issues and would need a blood thinner. So it's actually really good, and it works really well in concert with the medication. I like to remind people that acupuncture is not like, it's not acupuncture or nothing, or Western medicine or nothing. Acupuncture is considered a complementary therapy and can be used quite beautifully with Western medicine treatments.
And you used a word earlier, you used the word modality. That is a word I use a lot. And I think that's something that the public, our viewers, I want them to understand is a lot of times when I think in most cases, to achieve optimal health, we need to be exercising several modalities in order for us to reach our optimal health. So I think that's a good point.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I describe it as a wellness cocktail. So in a cocktail, you have lots of ingredients, right? And your cocktail, your cocktail of choice is going to be different from my cocktail of choice. And so the ingredients in my wellness cocktail involve Melaleuca vitamins, monthly acupuncture, a monthly massage, chiropractic adjustments as needed, my daily Synthroid tablet that I have to take.
Me too.
My annual, right? My annual mammogram, my getting my teeth cleaned twice a year. You know, it's all those things that are in that wellness cocktail that help to keep me moving forward in life in a healthy way.
And I love how you really, put that on the same platter as like going to the dentist and getting a mammogram. It's that simple and yet that important. So I have
Absolutely.
one more question. Well, I have two more questions actually. So with your practice, if I'm coming to you as a new patient, is there a number of treatments that I should be prepared, that I would be expected to come? How does that work?
Well, for every person, it is different. And I always tell the people that come through my door that, you know what, I am automatically setting up an expectation that you and I are going to have a long-term relationship, that I'm going to be your partner in wellness for as long as you will have me. So initially, I'm going to ask to see you for 90 minutes so that you and I can really get to know each other very well. And then I'm going to give you a first needle treatment within that 90 minutes. And then ideally, if you've never had acupuncture and if you're really stuck in some way, I'm probably going to recommend that you might come one time a week for a few weeks to help to get you into a better balance, into a better rhythm. Then we'll reassess, and then maybe we'll go every other week, every 3 weeks. with the goal of having you get on a maintenance program for one time a month to keep you moving in the right direction.
Right. Awesome. So is there any question that you would want a new patient to ask you other than like certification and background? Is there a question that, what's the one question that every patient should ask you? And I know I'm throwing you off on that one, but it's just, I think it's an interesting question. What's the one question you would want someone to ask you?
Oh, that is a good question. I'm not sure that I'm going to come up with a really good answer on the fly here. I think that I often will ask a person and maybe have them ask of me, like, what is it that we're going to achieve together? And is it something that, like, maybe what the person is asking for, they're not even sure if acupuncture can help. Mm-hmm. Like, they just want to feel more like themselves. Right. So maybe the question is, can acupuncture really help me feel more like myself? Even if I'm not sure of what that means. Like, I just know that I've tried everything. I've had every test known to man. I've seen all these doctors, you know, they're telling me there's quote unquote nothing wrong with me. And yet I know that I don't feel like myself. So is this something that really can help me? And I say definitively, absolutely, stick with me. It may not be fast. It probably isn't going to be fast, but the effects are long lasting and they're cumulative. So the more that you do it, the better balance you're going to come into, and you discover yourself.
If someone wants to reach out to you, now I know that you're licensed in Virginia, but if someone in that area wants to reach out to you, or maybe someone outside of the area, because our viewers are all over, they might want to email you a question. What is the best way for someone to reach out to you?
Absolutely. So they could certainly reach me on my cell number, which is area code 703-987-4014. You can always send me a text message. Or if you wanted to send me an email, you could send it to healingglen@att.net. So even if they don't live in this area, if they have a question, I'm happy to answer. Or if I can maybe even help them to find a qualified practitioner in the area, I'm also happy to help with that.
Well, I can't thank you enough for your time today. And I want to thank our viewers. This format is a little different from what our normal interview process is, but Glennie is one of the best. I'm in Florida and she's in Virginia, and I wanted to make sure that I could use Glennie as part of our process today. So with that, be sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Your Best Life. Until next time, be happy and be healthy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye for now.